Hello everyone, my name is Ashish Khare. I'm going to discuss one particular problem of IIT JEE Main 2005. That time Main was the second stage of JEE, that was subjective. Question number 17 from calculus. Supposedly one of the deadliest ever question that had come into IIT. Okay, please run through the question. Fx is a differentiable function and gx is a double differentiable function such that modulus of fx is less than or equal to 1 and f dash x is gx. If f of 0 whole square plus g of 0 whole square is given to be 9, prove that there exists some c belonging to open interval minus 3 to 3 such that g of c into g double dash of c is negative. That is, there exists at least one c belonging to minus 3 to 3. Now, coming to solution. This was JEE 2005, and by the time people who have written this subjective part, the main second stage, they were habituated of assuming functions. I'll give you the solution that was given by IITs those years, and a very elegant one, very nice one. A lot of insights to be derived from this solution. The solution starts with assume hx as some new function which is f of x square plus g of x square, which is a indication implying that h of 0 is given to be 9 because f of 0 plus whole square plus g of 0 square is given to be 9. Now the killer part started something like this. By Lagrange's mean value theorem, LMVT, we come to know that there exists a C1 belonging to minus 3 to 0 open such that G of C1 has a modulus less than or equal to 2 by 3. This was a shocker for most of the students because generally students do not have any idea how come Lagrange's mean value theorem is giving this, because essentially what students have been in a habit of looking from by Lagrange's mean value theorem is that there exists a C1 belonging to minus 3 to 0. अगर in general कोई लिखता तो वो ये लिखता that there exists a C1 belonging to minus 3 to 0 such that f dash of C1 is equal to f of 0 minus f of minus 3 upon 0 minus minus 3. LMVT से ये रिजल्ट यूजुअली आता रहा है. हाउ कम दिस रिजल्ट? नाउ ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड. fx की इनइक्वालिटी बता रखी है ऑलरेडी. सो fx हैज अ मॉड्यूलस लाइंग बिटवीन modulus less than equal to 1. That means fx lies between minus 1 to 1, which implies that f of minus 3 and f of 0, they both lie between minus 1 and 1, which would indicate that the numerator, that is f of 0 minus f of minus 3, lies between minus 2 to 2. This, when you multiply by negative sign, it will again be minus 1 to 1. Denominator as such is constant 3. So that means when I take the magnitude of this particular expression, this definitely is less than or equal to 2 by 3, lying between minus 2 by 3 to plus 2 by 3. And since f dash x is given to be gx, so modulus of g of c1 is less than or equal to 2 by 3. This was the first part जो उस solution में mentioned था, and a very nice one. Learning from here is that LMVT में अगर फंक्शन की इनइक्वालिटी दी हो तो जिस पॉइंट पे हम वो कंसिडर करते हैं उसकी इनइक्वालिटी बनती है. By the same logic, if we continue, then we should also conclude that there exists a C2 belonging to 0 to 3 for the same set of reasons such that modulus of g of C2 is also less than equal to 2 by 3. Makes sense. Logic complete. By Lagrange's wheel value theorem, there exists a C1 belonging to -3 to 0. G of C1 का modulus is less than 2 by 3 and another lying between C2. The next big statement that comes is, since h of 0 is 9, there exists a C belonging to C1 to C2. We can easily conclude कि C1 C2 से छोटा होगा because C1 -3 से 0 के बीच में लाई कर रहा है, C2 0 से 3 के बीच में, which is a point of maxima, local maxima for Hx. Again, not so easy to digest. How do I get this thing? Where from and why? Let us see the explanation behind this. I assume that I draw the graph of Hx. Somehow try to draw the graph of Hx. How do I go by that? X versus Hx अगर हम इसका ग्राफ बनाते हैं, so -3 से 0 के बीच में कहीं कोई एक C1 जरूर है जहां पे Hx की वैल्यू 13/9 या उससे छोटी है. How do I get this thing? I'll take this space and use this thing. H of C1 would be f of C1 का स्क्वायर plus g of C1 का स्क्वायर. Am I right? By the definition, g of C1 is less than equal to 2 by 3, so उसका स्क्वायर would be less than equal to 4 by 9, and fx by any value is less than equal to 1, तो उसका स्क्वायर is less than equal to 1. So implies that h of C1 has a modulus less than or equal to 13 by 9. By the same logic, between 0 to 3, somewhere in between there lies a C2, which again has a modulus or a value less than or equal to 13 by 9. Some function which has a value something less than or equal to 13 by 9 is going up to 9, at least 9, or maybe even higher, you never know, because h of 0 is 9 and then coming back again. So whatever be the case, there would be a point in between where the function has assumed a peak and then gone down. That means there is a point of maxima for Hx lying between C1 and C2. ध्यान से समझो, बहुत एलिगेंट तरीका है मैक्सिमा इंट्रोड्यूस करने का. नो फर्स्ट डेरिवेटिव, नो सेकंड डेरिवेटिव. एक कंटिन्यूअस और डिफरेंशिएबल फंक्शन की वैल्यू किसी पॉइंट पे छोटी दिखाई, किसी दूसरे पॉइंट पे छोटी दिखाई और किसी तीसरे रीजन से उनके बीच में एक बार बड़ी दिखाई, बट ऑब्वियस इन बिटवीन कहीं पे एक मैक्सिमा रहा होगा. आने वाले क्वेश्चंस के लिए बी रेडी टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग कि ऐसे भी पॉइंट ऑफ मैक्सिमा दिखाया जा सकता है. कमिंग बैक टू द क्वेश्चन अगेन, अगर इस जगह पे ये मैक्सिमा है, देन h dash of C1 फर्स्ट डेरिवेटिव 0 रहा होगा क्योंकि पॉइंट ऑफ लोकल मैक्सिमा h dash of C, in fact बिकॉज हमने इस पॉइंट का नाम C ले लिया है, would be equal to 0, and उसी पॉइंट पे द सेकेंड डेरिवेटिव h dash of C should have been negative because the point is a point of maxima. Now let us proceed with h dash of C. h dash of C के लिए हम hx को डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं. h dash of x becomes 2 times fx into f dash x plus 2 times gx into g dash x. f dash x you know is same as gx, पहले ले आए हैं, तो 2 times gx कॉमन ले लो, तो you are left with fx plus g dash x, and we know this thing that this is 0 at x is equal to c. ये अंडरस्टूड सी बात है क्योंकि मैक्सिमा है. At the same time, the second derivative, let us quickly run through that also. 2 I take common, so अंदर बचेगा एक बार f of x into f double dash of x plus f dash x का whole square, product rule in the first part, 2 common आ चुका है, plus g of x into g double dash of x, gx को as it is छोड़कर g dash का डेरिवेटिव किया, and then g dash x का whole square, and this value is supposedly negative at x is equal to c because that's a point of maxima, isn't it? Now looking at this, यहां तक पहुंचने के लिए जो लॉजिक आगे पिक किया था, that was amazing to understand and see. ध्यान से देखना, how do we proceed after this? स्टेटमेंट ये था, since h of 0 is 9 and for this to be 0, these two factors g of x and f dash x plus g dash x, इनमें से कोई एक 0 होगा at x is equal to c. So g of c cannot be equal to 0. Now this was a bit shocker. ऐसे कैसे, इतनी आसानी से कहां दिख गया कि g of c cannot be 0? The logic here was कि अगर g of c 0 हो जाता तो hx, again I will use this space, hx हमने क्या रखा था, fx स्क्वायर प्लस gx स्क्वायर. अगर पॉइंट ऑफ मैक्सिमा पे g of c 0 होता, ये फैक्टर 0 होता, तो hx में h of c सिर्फ बचता f of c का होल स्क्वायर. f of c का होल स्क्वायर 1 या 1 से छोटा है, जबकि तुम्हारा मैक्सिमा 9 या 9 से ऊपर आया था. रिकॉल द ग्राफ, h of 0 9 था तो फंक्शन 9 तक तो गया. इट इज ऑल्सो पॉसिबल कि 9 के ऊपर जाकर टर्न लिया हो, सो g of c 0 नहीं हो सकता, एम्प्लाइंग दैट f of c प्लस f g dash of c 0 रहा होगा. अगर दो फैक्टर्स का 0 होना, g of c 0 हो नहीं सकता, तो दूसरा फैक्टर f of c प्लस g dash of c 0 रहा होगा, which further implies that, अब ये सेकेंड डेरिवेटिव में देखो, if I look at it this way, I'll remove this, not required anymore. In this second factor 2 has no role to play. Now if I look at it, तो हमारे पास f of c, f double dash of c can be written as g dash of c because f dash was g single, plus f dash of x c का होल स्क्वायर can be written as g of c का होल स्क्वायर प्लस g of c into g डबल डैश of c, पहली बार वो टर्म आया, प्लस g dash of c का होल स्क्वायर is negative. Now in this, if you see somehow with a smart this thing, you will find जो पहला और आखिरी टर्म है f c into g dash of c प्लस g dash of c का होल स्क्वायर, इसमें अगर g dash of c कॉमन लो तो जो दूसरा फैक्टर बचता है वो ये है. प्लग इन दिस, सो दीज टू सडनली बिकम 0. क्योंकि जिस c पे मैक्सिमा है उस पे ये फैक्टर 0 था. अगर उस पे फैक्टर 0 था तो उस जगह सेकेंड डेरिवेटिव का ये पार्ट 0 हो जाएगा, बिकॉज व्हेन यू टेक g of c कॉमन इट इज f of c प्लस g dash of c. बचा ये, इसमें ये दोनों के 0 होने में, g of c होल स्क्वायर दोनों के सम के नेगेटिव होने में, सो दिस मच इज सफिशिएंट टू से कि अगर नेगेटिव होना है होल स्क्वायर प्लस समथिंग, तो नेगेटिव हैज टू बी g of c into g double dash of c, which should be negative, and we are done. The last thing to conclude, क्योंकि C1 लाई कर रहा है -3 से 0 के बीच में, C2 लाई कर रहा है 0 से 3 के बीच में, और C खुद लाई कर रहा है C1 से C2 के बीच में, तो वी कैन कंक्लूड कि C लाई कर रहा है -3 to 3. This was the exact solution that was given by IIT. I recall to the best of my memory that this is what it was, and I am very fond of this solution. Why? Because this has given a lot of insight for us to work with. Number one, assuming something in a JEE solution to begin with is okay. Number two, Lagrange's mean value theorem at times gives you inequalities if the inequality of the function is given. Number three, a maxima need not be given only by derivatives and this thing. A continuous and differentiable function or a continuous function having two smaller values and a one higher value in between definitely is bound to have at least one maxima, and vice versa, two values and a lower value in between is bound to have a minima. मैक्सिमा में फर्स्ट डेरिवेटिव जिस पॉइंट पे 0 होगा उसी पे सेकंड डेरिवेटिव नेगेटिव होगा, बट मैक्सिमा के जिस पॉइंट पे वैल्यू 0 हो रही है, दैट पर्टिकुलर 0 कैन बी कैरिड ओवर और कैन बी प्लग्ड इन द सेकंड डेरिवेटिव टू गेट अ वैल्यू वाज अ वेरी गुड जेस्चर. एंड लास्टली, अगर किसी क्वेश्चन में -3 to 3 दिया है, it's not essentially -3 to 3. It could be somewhere between some C1 and C2, and that gives us a result. Otherwise we would have stuck only उसी में ढूंढते रह जाते -3 to 3. One of the fundamental and very nice solution given by IITs, and one of the, so to say, the toughest question in IITs in a subjective format. Very rarely somebody would have solved it. I am not very sure if there was someone, but one question gives you a lot of insight to create many new objective questions in today's format around this. I hope you absorbed it as it is. I would recommend to go through it again and again to understand how IITs think about calculus.